Sorry, you guys. I need to work on that intro. I hope my mic is working today. It was giving me problems earlier. But yeah, man, like, intro should be coming. I want to work on one tonight. I'll work on one tonight. But what's up? George Moss, Crippler, Gabriel Gutierrez. What's up? What's up? And we got our boy joining us here. Let me get his clip ready.
It's a trap!
The level of professionalism, my apologies.
No, man, you're good. You're good.
Okay. How you doing, man?
Good, man. How are you?
I'm good. Happy Monday.
Yeah, something like that. It's so busy today.
I know.
Mondays don't feel like Mondays anymore, man.
No.
It just feels like freaking...
Well, after yesterday's 2 streams, we had a good time, so just the day flew by. How's that Juggernaut doing? Good? You're settling in?
Man. Yeah, it's... I need a bigger house, basically. That's all.
Pretty much. That's how it is.
Yeah. How's your Superman treating you?
Oh, he's good. He's watching, keeping an eye over the shoulder, making sure nobody gets in.
What do you think, man? So a lot of people consider that a grail. I consider it a grail still, even after I got it. But like, do you think that whole grail status has worn off after you've had it for like this amount of time?
I think I don't know if I'd say grail. I just appreciate the artistry that went in there and the engineering that went into that piece. I think what everybody says about it, before I picked it up, is 100% right. Like, it is, for me at least, the definitive Superman representation. And yeah, I don't know, grail, that's a tough term to use, but for me, yeah, I think this is, I don't know how you're going to be able to top a piece like this.
Right.
Yeah.
So like when I come into my room, I have pretty big guys all around. It's kind of weird, but I have a pretty, like, characters are pretty large, right? And I have like Thanos on Throne, Ultron, Galactus, Red Hulk, Apocalypse, Juggernaut. I have all these guys, but freaking when Superman, like when I go glance around Superman, I pause right there. I'm like, dang, that's...
Even my wife, she came down and I'm like, she looked at everything, and the first thing she said was, I'm like, which piece do you think is the nicest? She's like, I like that Superman. I'm like, why? It's just the colors. She's like, the pop of color is, it looks really good. I'm like, okay, sure.
She wasn't like that because like he has that 6-pack.
No, well, she's used to a 6-pack, so she more like a keg, but that's fine.
The whole pack, right?
Yeah.
Nice, man. But so Sean won't be able to make it. His kid is sick, so hopefully he gets better. I think he said he'll be on later tonight, though. After he puts him to sleep and everything. So that'd be cool. But
no problem. We can chill and hang out.
Yeah, Cece should be here in a little bit. She says she'll be here like in 5 minutes or something. But yeah.
Well, I'm sorry I'm late. I'll tell you what happened. I was ready. I was sitting here. And then Phoenix, that guy, puts me into a panic attack because I helped him get the poison ivy. Mm-hmm. So I shipped it to him. I picked it up. I shipped it to him. He sends me a message. Hey, a piece is missing. Sends me a picture. I'm like, what are you talking about? A piece is missing. I packed that thing myself.
Yeah.
Double check the packaging. So he gave me a heart attack. But he found it. It's all good.
So really quick, that happened to me too. Not with Phoenix.
Yeah.
But some guy I sold, who did I sell? I sold Harley Quinn. It was with 2 portraits. And this guy, I sold it to him back like, let's say, I sold it to him like a while back, right? 6 months later, he goes like, hey man, I'm missing the extra portrait that goes with this. And I was like, what? Like, what do you want me to do about it? Like, it was there. I took pictures. I took whatever. And he goes like, oh, my bad. I just found it. I was like, where the hell were you looking?
God damn it.
You know what I think happens is like they go into panic mode. They don't see it for that 1 second.
Yeah.
They're like, shit. Like, I feel like I would go the same way. But yeah, that happened to me once before. Yeah. Yeah, if you could send him one really quick.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
But yeah, man, like... freaking Phoenix, man. But Phoenix, like, I keep thinking he's done every single week, and then he just keeps going and going and going.
Yeah, but he finds things at such good deals. It's crazy. So
yeah, the freaking deal on
justified.
Poison Ivy. Yeah. But
It's
is
just
it though, man? Like he's a perfect example of like there's room running out.
yeah. But I think he's clearing out at the same time. So he's.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's true. But to each their own. I'm probably would be the same way. If I saw a good deal, I probably wouldn't pass up on it. Especially the deals he's finding. Shit.
Well, even you, how you helped me out and found a good deal like that's crazy. Sure, it's a little drawback, but with the box. But besides that, where are you gonna find a deal like that, right?
You cannot pass those up, right?
Nope.
It's like you said, you make room, right?
Yeah. There's lots of ceiling space. We'll put them upside down and suspend them somehow.
We were talking about that earlier. Rashid is going to get the 89 bat wing. Is it called Batwing?
Batwing, yeah. The Jazz Inc. one, yeah.
Yeah.
It's so nice.
It's nice. I saw a video someone posted up on a cool wall mount, and he like positioned it so it's like looking like it's coming down.
Yeah.
And he has his Joker right in front of it, like pointing at
That's
it.
so sick.
And I was like, that's smart. Like, God, the space, man. Because the way he zooms out, I'm just like, wow.
Yeah, because it's 6 scale, so it's it's a big piece.
Yeah. I don't know how you did you get it or
No, to get it through to cut through customs and all that, to me would be a crazy amount of money. So I'm not prepared to pay that.
Slifer keeps misspelling your name, but we'll let that pass. John, you should spray the ceiling black. Would look industrial.
I was thinking of putting like some sort of material there, black material. We'll see. This whole thing's gonna change over the next couple weeks.
Oh, for real? Oh, hell yeah!
I gotta like work it around because of once I got the other pieces coming in, I gotta make room.
Mm.
So I don't know what I'm gonna do yet, but time is the issue.
It's gonna get hot, man.
I kind of want to just spread everything in, put the chair back again the way it was, and then just run things down the side. We'll see.
Oh, my bad. What's up, CC?
What's going on, Cece?
How's it going?
It's going. How are you?
Good. Happy Monday.
Something like that.
Yeah.
Like,
Crazy busy Monday. So welcome back from England, right? Or from Britain, or
yeah,
from
I feel
London,
I've been
or
back. Yeah, I've been back for a while. It was mostly London. I didn't do a lot of like venturing out, but celebration was busy enough, if that makes sense. Like, it was great though. I hung out with a lot of great people, friends across the pond.
did you hear any accents or anything? Did you go like?
Oh
Did you hear
gosh.
anything good?
Well, at one point I told if you know like RS Rob, like I told his wife Andrea, we really hit it off, and I noticed that I was not talking in their accent, obviously, because that would be awful. That would be like some Dick Van Dyke kind of Cockney stuff. Not that that's even their accent, but I started talking in like their cadence, if that makes sense, like the way they speak. But I did pick up a lot of their isms. Like, what was one that I liked? Bang out of order.
Bang out of order?
Yep. Like if someone would say something like out of line or whatever, instead of just being like, yo, that's messed up, it was, that's bang out of order. I like that one. I'm trying to fit that into my everyday vocabulary. I'm trying to think what other one. Well, and I liked that we're making comments about I think I've said this on the show before. On the tube, they have like see it, say it, sort it, almost like see something, say something, as far as like suspicious activity.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, I love how they have see it, say it, sort it, and we have like fuck around and find out.
Oh wow, that's true.
It sounds so much classier on their side.
It's classier.
It's funny, actually. Go ahead.
Have you ever heard this? Somebody in CW says it. I think it's Marcos. He says, "Fax, send the fax to Cleveland" or something.
Never heard that one before.
Don't know. What
You never
I've
heard
heard.
that?
I'm a Formula One fan, so I remember like Daniel Ricciardo famously said when someone asked him about like a maneuver he did that was pretty dangerous. As far as I forget who he overtook, but it was quite gutsy. A reporter asked him like, "So what was that about?" And he was like, "Sometimes you got to lick the stamp and send it." And I don't know if that's anything. in, but I loved it. Like I got a sticker that was like it looked like a postage stamp, and then I had like the Formula One cards like battling it out.
Oh yeah.
That quote. But no, it was great. And if anything, like I think I was back for 2 days, and Rob's wife Andrea messaged me and was like, "So you're looking at flights to come back?" And I was like, "I am. Yeah, I'd love to come back."
Hell yeah.
Yeah. They offered to let me stay with them if I come back, so that'll help at least. But there's a art print festival that's specific to like art and comic art that happens every year in November. So we'll see if I could swing that. I'm seriously considering going and just calling it a birthday present to myself. And actually,
yeah, because like the stay is like 50% already. So if they cover you for the stay, that's awesome.
Is it true that
yeah.
Is it true that the majority of the meals are tea and crumpets?
Watch too many movies, John.
I didn't have tea or crumpets or fish and chips. I missed out on fish and chips. I was worried that I was not going to get a full English breakfast, and I love a full English breakfast because I'm not big on sweet stuff like right early in the morning. So theirs is definitely not on the sweet side. Finally sat down at the airport at Heathrow before I was leaving, and I got my full English breakfast. I was really nervous about it, that I was going to leave the country without having that. But yeah, it was a great time, and it was my third time in London and England, and it's still my favorite destination. I think now it's even better because I've got friends obviously there. I'm not just tourist, if that makes sense. Like there's more to just, it's not just sightseeing. And I'm trying to think. I was gonna say something else. I was gonna ask John. I actually just picked up a box from FedEx, and it's the RS Scout Trooper helmet.
Oh.
So if you wanted me to open that up, I think it would be topical because everyone's talking about the EFX Legend Scout helmet that people finally got after pre-ordering it 9 years ago.
Yeah, you're always welcome.
Okay. Sorry to derail whatever you guys were talking about.
Well, I also wanted to ask, how are the teeth? No, I'm kidding. Okay, move on. Sorry.
Wow.
You know what? It's funny to say that. Everyone that I met had fantastic teeth. I'm not kidding.
We're going to debunk myths on the next trip.
Of everyone I hung out with. They all have excellent teeth.
Okay.
Though I will say, a lot of them were drinking Budweiser.
Wow.
Oh, and wow. I had a Budweiser shirt. Oh, what the fuck? That's awesome. Well, I've never been over there. I've been to Germany. I've been to Italy. In Italy, they surprisingly drink a ton of coffee there. Like I didn't think they drank so much coffee. They drink coffee day, midday, night, midnight, 2 a.m. And then, yeah. Even before you go inside the clubs in there, like they have somebody outside drinking coffee while they're. I was like, what is going on? This freaking Italians, man.
I just noticed. Sorry, I noticed when I first came on, is that like a frame TV next to you that keeps flipping through covers?
Yeah, so that was going to be the topic of today. So today's topic is going to be, I called it sometimes maybe good, sometimes maybe shit 2.0. So I know we're in we're like, yeah, But like, I know we're statues, hot toys, and art prints, and then 1/12 scale figures. I went this weekend to go buy a statue, and when I was coming back, I was like really interested in this. It's called a mural TV, or it's called a mural canvas 2.0. And what it's supposed to be meant for is supposed to replicate canvas prints. And the place I saw it was at a New York Comic Con. The person had it next to their stand, and it replicated all their art prints, but like on the TV, you know. So you could like swipe, and it goes to the next screen, whatever, and you could go through all of them really quick. But the quality on this thing is just exactly like a canvas print. It looks better on in person than it does on the screen. But I was gonna ask you guys, like, what's the 2.0 of your collection, your world, whatever, like statues, hot toys, wall prints, whatever. What's up, Brenton?
Hey, how's it going?
Right on time.
Cece, I was like
Hey, buddy.
Well, I just talked to this dude. He was one of the
I
reasons
know.
why.
I was late because I was too excited to frame something. So I was like, I'm gonna get this done before I jump on here. So I had to get it done. It came out well too. So thank you, CC, for the video and such.
Yeah, you're welcome. So, I guess the topic, Brighton, if you weren't listening in, is like, what's the 2.0 of our collections? Do you mean like the evolution?
Yeah, so I was gonna any way you want to take it, the evolution, if technology is gonna get involved, if like you're looking into whatever it may be, whatever way you want to twist it or take it.
I will say I have like an aversion to technology in art because of the NFT stuff and the AI stuff, that's very like controversial. But I do know I'm going down a dangerous path of like private commissions and original art as opposed to prints. That does not mean I'm going to stop collecting prints. It just means I have one more expensive thing I collect, which is fantastic. That's everything my credit score needed. But it's exciting because obviously original art, it's a one of one always. But what I'm finding out now is I'm connecting with artists. I'm kind of getting like a wish list together in my head. And if they're on the smaller side, I can make space for them. I could presumably like limit maybe a wall that I would normally have art prints on and focus on just having originals on that wall or something like that. But because they're commissions, the parameters are a lot less. Like obviously an artist can come back to you and say, hey, I don't want to do that, or that's not a property I want to touch or whatever. But as far as like the concept or the design, it's like, oh crap. Like if you get a commission, like what would you ask for? Like what would you look for? It's almost like getting the opportunity to have someone make you a custom statue with every commission, because like the world is your oyster. That's what I'm struggling with. It's like, dude, how many Vader paintings can I have like before it gets old? So that's
Before it gets old.
That's the first world problem I'm having, is that I have ideas on the horizon, but then it's like I have artists that I'd love to get work from, but it's like, crap, what am I going to have that artist do versus this artist and that sort of thing. And then I also keep, as much as I keep telling myself I don't want to collect statues, I keep like seeing projects and that are very intriguing. And I'm like, what the hell? I can't have like 10 statues. That's not collecting statues. That's having like a significant amount of statues. There's that.
It's funny that you bring up NFTs because that was a big thing. Like at my work and within my like group of friends, it was like, hey, you should collect crypto, you should collect NFTs. It's the future. And I was looking into them, and I was like, this is something like I just have to go on my phone and like there's basically an image that I own, and it doesn't do anything for me other than it being value. The value is only put in by the amount of people that are interested in it. So I kind of saw it that way, like like a collectible almost, but like that world of NFTs was blowing up to where I was like, I like this drawing, or I like this painting, or I like this whatever they called it, but everyone that was on it did not like the same NFT that I was looking at. So I was like, this is too like, it's like art. It's subjective and everything. Like no one's gonna like what I like, It's gonna be a limited amount. So like, there's no money here. So I don't know. NFTs for me were a little thing for a little bit of time, but that thing got really scary really quick because the prices started shooting up. And one I did look into did skyrocket. I keep saying I should have like kept it, but then like it dropped down as fast as it went up. So luckily I got out right on time. But NFTs were definitely.
I'd rather stick to things I could like physically touch and hold and. Yeah. Also, just to hijack things a little bit too, I saw Cash's in the chat. He's getting into Star Wars, and I told him, and maybe this helps with like the evolution of collecting, maybe just a little bit, but I visualize stuff a lot when it comes to displays. Like it sounds really nerdy, but like and I think Eddie and Danny have seen my PowerPoint. John, you might have seen like screenshots from it. I have a PowerPoint where it's almost like I dare not say mood board, like Pinterest style, but like before I had these display cases behind me, I was like, okay, I'm going to get this cowl, and I'm going to put this in this cabinet, and this one in this one. And I'm going to have this statue above it, and this statue above this one. And I do the same with art prints, where I map them out like visually on a PowerPoint, to like visualize them and make sure they look okay before I even start considering like measuring out the walls and making sure they fit where they're supposed to. So if anyone's having issues with like how to display things, I don't know if we cover that in like our whole display topic, but I'm a huge visual learner. Like I'm a big proponent of just grab a PowerPoint or Word doc and just start throwing pictures on there. Because sometimes you'd see whether there's like stuff you're looking at collecting actually fits with what you have already. Because that helps me. If like I see something I like, but the second I put it like with, or I try to think about how it will look with everything else, if it doesn't fit, I'm just like, I'm not getting it. Because that might send me down a path of like, I don't collect lines, but like if I get one thing, then it's like, okay, like if I have one life-size bust of Hellboy, does that mean I need an ape sapien? No, it doesn't. Not to me. Where it's like, if this fits, then that's the exception, not the rule. Like, so yeah, I think that
I need the Samaritan to go with that.
You're talking to the wrong crowd, Cece, if you're trying to
Sorry.
change your mind.
I'm sorry.
I know, right?
Lobster Johnson.
Sorry.
Big group of enablers.
But so I guess Brenton and John, what about you guys? Like, what do you guys see as the next level, next generation, 2.0, whatever you guys, what do you guys think?
Well, I'm thinking that I'm getting more into original art
Yeah, that's what's
or commissions or stuff. And I also found these IDW Marvel Artist Select books, and they only have a limited amount of them, and they're hand signed by the artist, and then that artist picks stories from their time on a certain character to put in that volume, and then they're like oversized hardcovers with those volumes, and they're really done up nice. And I was going to pick up 2 today because one of the artists is no longer living, so it's not like he's going to be signing anything else. So I thought it'd be really cool to have it. Plus, these guys are older, so it's hard to get the original art. I looked at some of that today, and it was like, here's a page for $10,000. So I was like, well, I guess that's out.
Oh, speaking of commissions and that kind of thing, so as you've probably seen with some of these comic book artists, they'll sell like an original page or panel or what have you for like, I tend to see like 10 to 15,000. I almost don't want to say his name because I don't want to talk shit, but there's a comic book artist who just released that he's opening for commissions, and it's like $12,000 for an 8x10.
He's a little crazy for that because some of it.
Is he though?
Yeah, he is. So when it comes
And
to
it was
like
going to be
original art,
$1,000 of shipment if you couldn't pick it up in person.
Oh no, yeah, he's crazy. He's crazy.
the original art though, like covers are more expensive than just normal pages, like published covers, I should say. And then you have like splash pages are more expensive than just single pages. So it's like a whole tiered system. And then it also depends on the artist. So if you try and get like a huge name artist, like if it was Jim Lee or somebody, that's when it's going to get crazy.
Yeah, we're paying for the name too, right? That's all part of it.
I don't know if you guys ever heard of David Mack by chance. He does water, I forget what it's called, not watercolor, but water prints, water inked prints. And he did a really cool comic book for Fight Club, or a really cool cover for Fight Club. And I got to meet him at Comic-Con, and I was like, can I get your autograph, blah, blah, blah. He did it, he was really cool. He signed it and everything. But right on his table, he had like all these like, one of a kind art prints on his table. And I'm just like going through them like with my bare hands. And I was like, wow, this is cool. This is awesome. Like I keep looking through them. I was like, wow, I found one, like a cool one, one of Brad Pitt in Fight Club. And I was like, how much is this thing? And I'm just like grabbing it with my hand, just waving it. He goes like, can you put that down for a little bit? I was like, yeah, but like, how much is it? He goes like 6,000. And I was like, why did you let me touch this with my hands? You know, I was like, oh my God, like, I'm sorry. I was like trying to clean it. I was like, I'm so sorry. But yeah, art prints are, I don't know about you guys. Like that's gonna be custom stuff or one of a kind stuff. Is gonna be really tough to. But
Well,
you get what you want, I guess.
it's funny you say that because there's been some artists that I find out how much their commissions are, and I was like, like, is that more than a print? Absolutely, but is it that much more than a print? Not really. Like you could spend like maybe $150 on an art print, or you could reach out to the artist and maybe get, it's not going to be 24 by 36 or whatever, but you can get like a small commission for like 300, and you're like, a one of one too, like that's and exactly what you're looking for. If what you're looking for is niche, that's where I'm struggling with, like I said, with the concept where it's like, are there that many things I've always wanted as art that I've never seen before, or that I've never seen available before, or characters that I don't, that people don't draw very often. So that's my issue so far.
Yeah, like one of my friends likes this guy. His name is David Ominga. I like him too. He does prints for DC, but he had a good idea. He had like a empty canvas on a comic book empty canvas, whatever, and he had him draw Vader on that comic book, but using his style. He never does Vader or anything, so using his style with that comic book, it was awesome. It was great. I might do that because that commission was probably like $200, but his art style is like one of a kind for me. I think that'd be really cool.
Well, and the other thing, not that I think a lot of people watching right now are terribly interested in commissions. Sorry, I keep hijacking it, even though I know it's pretty niche, but like a lot of the artists I really like already are working with Disney, so they're not really willing to touch Star Wars because they don't want to ruin a relationship they have with Disney if Disney's not getting a cut of that. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
but there's some artists who work with Warner Brothers, but they'll have no problem doing Batman, but they won't do Star Wars. So it's finding a balance there. And also, like, the artists I've reached out to, thank God, a lot of them are busy. So it's like, okay, I'll get on the list in a few months versus right now, which is good because I'm like recovering from Celebration, but also have a few statues coming in soon that need to be paid for. So
John, like we're in the statue world. Like, do you think silicone is the future, or do you think?
I hope not.
You hope not.
Do I think silicone is the future? No, I don't think silicone's the future. I don't think. I think maybe a company will maybe try to dabble in silicone in quarter scale because we haven't seen that yet. So I think that may be the next move.
Mm-hmm.
But it's still early with silicone. I hear a lot of collectors still worried about silicone and the likeness and so forth. So do I think it's the future? I don't know. I think low ESs is the future.
That's funny you said that because PCS just announced like a whole new thing, and they said I think 125, right, for their lowest edition size.
For the ultimate 175, 25 or 75. I'm not sure, but yeah, it's they're retracting big time with the ESs. So I think we're going to see a little bit of that. Same with Sideshow. And you're seeing it as well with XM and Prime 1 with the made to orders. That 100, 199. That Joker, Jimenez Joker, is I think 100.
Yeah, it's 100.
Yeah. Is it 100? Okay.
It's 100. Mm-hmm. Not the one on Throne. The Joker in the Batman outfit.
Where he looks not, I don't want to say mech, but like, I know which one you're talking about.
Sort of, yeah. I get what you're saying, yeah. That one.
I think that's... Sorry, Cece, go ahead.
No, I think we're going to say the exact same thing. I don't hate the idea of low edition sizes if it means that we're getting like niche characters like that. The Jimenez Joker that we're talking about. as soon as I saw it, I was like, who was asking for this? Like, it's great, it's gorgeous, but it's not one where it's like, okay, this is definitely a villain or something we've been looking for a long time. So I don't, if it means it gets made, almost like Talon, I'm just glad that Talon got made. And if there's only 250 people, or I think it's 350 who will ever have that statue, then so be it. I think it's the companies being responsible and realizing like they can't keep throwing out statues with like
For sure.
1,000, 2,000 ESs and just having them hang around forever.
Yep.
And they feel more special. Like, I don't collect for edition sizes. I don't give a shit if a print I have it means if they're only doing 40, I'm more apt to jump on it sooner rather than later if and it's close to 1,000. But some of my favorite art prints were huge ass editions of like 800 or 900 prints. It doesn't mean I love them any less.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's more of a sign of the times that people don't have money to order stuff, so they're not going to make a lot of statues, and that's why the ESs are dipping. And I think they're trying to market it more as we're making it more collectible, which is just more of people aren't buying.
I don't necessarily think it's people don't have money, because I see people spending money in absurd ways in the BSTs, and you hear it all the time. You can see it on YouTube shows, people spending money. I think it's people leaving the community, leaving the hobby behind, and now we're getting back to the pre-COVID times where those collectors are now continuing to collect, and the new little influx that came in is now saying, well, I got to get out because I can't maintain this. So I think that's a major part of it. There's always money. Tax time, people will always get an influx of money at some point, and I'll buy a statue here or I'll buy a statue there, put some money away.
Or the opposite, because I've totally run into that where, it's tax season. Yeah, I can't be spending a lot of money right now. I'm not going to be like Fern. I can't just like hide from the tax man.
Wow.
Big
Right.
Fern. Shout out to Big Fern.
He's on his third garage already. But yeah, it could be a little bit of mix of both, but I think that the low ESs are here to stay. Look at what do we got? Iron Spidey just came out with, what was it, 650?
I think 600, yeah.
600, yeah.
And that not Batman, Spider-Man Noir is 400.
400 for the exclusive,
That's
yeah.
cool,
So,
you know. I would never get it, but I like the idea of that.
oh yeah, it's a beautiful concept. So we'll see, but I think that's what's going to be here to stay for now.
Well, and John, so you definitely transitioned from. Sorry, I should have used a better word. I feel like that's very triggersome for people.
Well, just don't stop. You can continue the sentence.
Yeah, he went to
Insult him some more. Come on.
You went from like, I'm trying to remember now, like your backdrop. I think it was like you collected a little bit of everything, and then you kind of went like, you know what, I'm going to focus on Batman, and then like some Marvel, like the LBS line, right?
Correct. Yep.
And then of course you've got Soups behind you. I've seen that. Like, I know Joe's going to Star Wars.
Yep.
So I've seen a few people where they're not necessarily getting out of the hobby. They're just like, I'm switching gears entirely.
Focuses. Yep.
I don't want that to ever happen to me because I think the idea of it is exhausting. But then I also think of people like Cash, who's like kind of not starting from scratch, but like he's definitely not diving head first into Star Wars, and how overwhelming that can be.
Yeah.
With how many options there are, and if you just want to focus on, because I think I was asking him like, well, are you focusing on statues, art prints, like prop replicas, like what's the goal essentially?
Yeah, I think he's going to go for busts and life-size busts and stuff like
Smart.
that.
Yeah.
So it's a weird world, the Star Wars, because Star Wars, because there's Mandalorian, there's the movies, there's Clone Wars, there's different iterations of each movie too, and then I guess it's like he's been in the collecting game too with statues, to where he probably has a good focus on what he's going to be doing with it. So luckily for that.
The thing is, he has so much opportunity. The good thing about Star Wars is it hasn't even reached its potential, an inkling, a quarter of its potential. when you see if you
There's
saw
definitely
a company like Queen Studios pick up the Star Wars license and start pumping out movie pieces, oh my goodness, it would be insane. I think you'd see a lot of people pivoting their collections and focusing, and a lot of sell-offs, especially transitions from hot toys to statues.
So I have a question though. Why, if there's a lot of money in the hobby yet, why aren't these low ESs selling out?
I don't
Why are they sitting in stock?
Like
I
Talon
will
hasn't sold out.
'Cause it's
I don't agree with the whole people have money right now. I've had a few conversations with people, and I don't know if it's the economy or people just like me realizing like, you know, sometimes you just gotta take a break or slowly roll and just wait for things that you have on order to come in before you consider what your next PO is going to be. But there's a few people actually who I made deals with recently where it was, or friends that were talking back and forth, and the one was like, "Oh, I know I have to have like maybe 3,000 by the end of the month for, but I can't remember why I need 3,000 by the end of the month." And I was like, okay. And he's like, oh wait, I'm paying for commissions. And I was like, okay, well, you just sold one art print and you're accepting payments on that. So is that like a problem? And they're like, no, no, no. But I'm like, and they were talking about that where he sold a few things. I bought something right before celebration, same situation where the guy was selling a few different things. And I was like, would you mind doing payments? And he was like, no, like everyone's asking to do something like that, like break it up recently. So I don't think that people are as making it rain as much as maybe we think from what we see. I've seen a lot of people like they might get a ton of stuff in. They're also listing a bunch of shit. Or I get messages of like, hey, is anyone interested in this because so and so's selling it
Yeah, if you're spending 3K on art prints, on art,
on originals.
on original art, you're spending
But
money.
also,
Like,
well,
Yeah,
that
but
same
that sounds
yeah,
like he's
like,
irresponsible to a degree.
well,
Like he's like, oh,
that
I
same
gotta
person
sell this
like
stuff.
listen, there's money. There's going to be money. With these ESs, 600, it could be characters. Not everybody wants a Spider-Man Noir. Not everybody wants an Iron Spider-Man. Look at Prime 1 Jungle Predator.
4Gs.
$9.99 ES, $3,000 US a pop. It's waitlisted. Talon is a very niche character. Not everybody understands Talon. And the other thing that it is with Prime, which is tough, is the shipping. The shipping really hurts a lot of people and really deters people. People are okay. People will kind of get into their minds, yeah, I'll pay this amount for this piece, but I can't justify the shipping because that would be another piece. So that's why I could see that issue with Talon. I see more the issue of the niche character. That is a niche character. But when I'm sitting back and I'm seeing Prime One pieces selling on Sideshow, almost all Prime Joker versus Batman, all waitlisted. Joker Dragon, waitlisted. All these big 2-3K pieces. Jungle Predator, like I mentioned, 3K US without shipping. All waitlisted. Oh, people have money.
On Sideshow though, you
well,
don't know how many they're allotted.
and
Okay,
Sideshow will
but
have
I'm
some
looking at Prime One site. Prime One
back.
site, 999. Predator, Jungle Predator's waitlisted at 3K.
But
But
there's
then,
also company. We're not talking about like Sideshow and Prime One are not indicative of like the U.S. market. Also, the art situation I mentioned probably wasn't a good example, but what I mean is like that's someone who has $3,000 that they're going to be paying for art, and they also probably have like $5,000 worth of stuff listed in various different groups to try to help subsidize that 3,000 that they're expect. Like we know how that goes. Like you get something
Yeah.
in, you're like, oh, I have to sell something because I love this piece and I'm keeping it. I don't collect that way, but I could name on four hands people who do collect that way. But it was more of an anecdote where that person is saying that every single person who's reaching out to him regarding the art he is selling is saying, will you do payments? Like they're not willing to do like, hey, I'm going to do it like all up front. And I don't blame people for being like that. But I think it's a sign of the times. I think people were probably like spending way beyond their means for the longest time, and I think it's starting to catch up to people.
I completely agree with that. I think people are definitely spending way like, come on, like one statue average is like what, $600, $700. Average rent around here is like what, 1,800, 2,000, and then like having that added to whatever other expenses like someone may have, it adds up. It adds up quick, and then imagine getting a second statue for like, you know, like how. I don't want to say people are getting priced out, but also people are not being smart with their collections. I feel like they're trying to follow, what's the saying? Follow the Jones or follow the Joneses?
Keeping up with the Joneses.
Keeping up with the Joneses. I feel like a lot of people fell into that earlier this year and end of last year to now they're trying to like recover to where they're trying to either sell their stuff or they're trying to like slow down by by a lot.
Well, that's why I try to preach collect responsibly. It's like going into a casino. Like, we're adults. At the end of the day, we're adults. That's why I don't walk into a casino and drop 100,000 on a blackjack table, right? It's kind of because I know my limit. It's, I don't know. You got to kind of step back and have, I'm not going to say self-control, but you got to know your limits and be smart about the hobby. And that's why when I hop on YouTube, I try to at least, you know, we hop on here and talk about statues, like tons of statues, like statues worth thousands of dollars, life-size statues worth, that life-size queen piece, whatever it was, 50,000. Like, we talk about things that are valued, art prints and original art and so forth. But we're just bringing it up to people's attentions. We're not saying, well, you should go buy it or you need to keep up with this person to buy it. You got to collect by your means, whether it's Hot Toys, whether it's Lego, it could be flipping stamps. Just, you should collect by your means. And stick with that. Always come for the conversation and enjoy, because I feel like you can talk about the hobby without having to spend money.
I don't know. If you don't have a statue behind you, I don't think you're a collector.
Oh,
you
yeah,
know?
okay. I know, it's stupid.
What were you saying, CC?
Ark was like, art prints have value.
Art doesn't know what he's talking about.
I'm like, it's a different type of.
You know Ark, right?
Don't fall into Art.
Yeah.
That's a trap.
He's pressing that button right now.
Ark's not getting enough attention, so he has to
Well,
go after CC.
Did you answer the question regarding evolution?
On my end? For
Yeah, 'cause,
statues?
Well, because you're collecting statues, but you're also collecting Hot Toys. So that'd be
Yes. So I had like a weird combo with this because like I wanted to see for you, CC, I thought this was going to be the 2.0, getting like a nice screen and having a ton of wall prints or art prints, I'm sorry. And then for like comic books, I thought it was going to be digital, and I thought for like figures, just going to go up to statues, you know. But for me, I feel like I'm going the reverse. I'm collecting Bowens now. Like, it's older school. I guess, would it be considered vintage, John, you think?
What?
Bowens?
Vintage?
I don't know if they're old enough to be vintage. I think vintage. Sorry, I know John had that question, but I
No,
think
it's okay. I didn't know you knew about Bowens.
30 years old.
Damn it, I got 20 years ago. No, so like I'm going the Bowen route, but not like only collecting Bowens. Hot Toys, I'm putting a pause on right now because like there's a ton out right now, and like the whole news about there being 2.0 of all these figures kind of like, it doesn't piss me off, but it's just like why there's no rush to collect these guys, you know?
Yeah.
So I feel like I'm taking the reverse route, but I'm still in the collecting game where I'm collecting old school stuff, which are the Bowens. I don't know what would you guys call that?
Vintage is typically considered. An item's considered typically vintage at around the 40-year mark.
40-year mark. Okay. I call these classics, I guess. I don't know, but I don't see myself ever collecting J&D or life size or any of that stuff. Not because, well, whatever. Like for me, I don't have the space. Like just for the boxes alone, I feel like you gotta buy caskets, or you buy caskets when you buy life size. And J&D is just like that. Has to be climate control. Like, no thanks.
But J&D's also doing movie. Do you think if they started to do some comic representations, that you change your mind?
No, I don't think so. I think with their, I think J&D's main priority is to sell at a high cost to people that are suckers. Sorry to say this, but people that are suckers to buy them. You know, like $3,000 for a statue that's like 20% silicone is kind of weird to me. Like the rest is all sculpted, right?
Underneath the body.
Yeah, everything is sculpted, minus the face.
Minus the
and-
platinum line they're doing, yes. You're
Yeah.
right. Yep.
Yeah. To me, I don't see the cost, the cost there. So I don't think I'll ever go J&D route, even if they do comic book characters.
Okay, fair enough.
Well, I find myself sometimes being a jerk and just being like, yeah, no, there's certain things I'll never collect. And I question if I have that mentality because it's against my religion to pay so much for something like that, or if it's because I literally just don't like the look of the product. And I can respect what J&D is trying to do, but the idea of like high maintenance silicone would freak me out. And also, I honestly think that they're so realistic, it's almost like uncanny valley. That's why for the longest time I said I would never get busts. And now I've got this thing. And I'm gonna get the Vader. But I think with with the bust, it was like they looked too realistic, and the idea of it, like I would never have a life-size mannequin of a stormtrooper in my house because it's like that kind of seems like there's a person underneath there. I could display armor or helmets, and that's a totally different thing. That turns it from like a mannequin into like, you know, collecting props or displaying props. But yeah, I don't. Thankfully, I've never been interested in what J&D's doing, and like the life-size queen bust. Again, I think it's just too uncanny valley for me. I prefer a portrait that's not even like 100% spot on, like J&D or Queen, just if it means that you could tell it's art, versus like Madame Tussauds that you're trying to replicate in your house.
Yeah, and that's definitely what they try to go for, is that museum realistic look. And you got a lot of collectors who love it, so...
Yeah, so I was really lucky to actually see a Queen Studios silicone Thanos the other week. I got to see it in person.
Bust. Yeah.
I got to touch it. I got to like, you know, check it out. To me, like quality is there. You know, like I saw who's the actor that plays Thanos in the movies?
Brolin.
Josh Brolin.
Josh Brolin. I saw him. I was like, that's him. But from far away, to me, it looked like Polystone. Like the closer I got, there was more detail into it. But I was probably like 2 feet away until I noticed that quality, like the pores in his skin, the veins going through around his cheekbones, and the structure around his face. I was like, this looks pretty good. But the closer I got, I was like, oh, it's starting to like distort a little bit. It's starting to like not look appealing to me. The closer I got, it was like within that 3 to 2 feet distance to where I was like, this looks good, you know. But after 3 feet, I was like, this looks like Polystone. 5 feet. Polystone. Like I wouldn't be able to tell you like straight up, is that Polystone or silicone? The closer I got, it was definitely noticeable. But looking at that Queen Studios Thanos, like I was like, I can't see me paying that money for that material just because it's silicone. You know, someone tells me, well, it's silicone. I was like, is that your argument? Like I'm getting the same quality as far as like appearance on Polystone and some stuff. So
How would you take it if a hot toy collector said, I would never pay, I don't know, whatever, 2,000 US or whatever, for, let's say, a Superman or Batman, when I get a better representation of the character in a hot toy, let's say a better likeness?
No, man, but you got to keep going. What am I going to do, quit? That's not an option. You got to keep on keeping on. Life's a garden, dig it? You make it work for you. You never give up, man. That's my philosophy.
too much power in my hand right now, John. No, man, that's a good question, because like it's Hot Toys coming up to the statue world. I don't know if it's coming up, but it's going to the statue world. To me, I would probably tell them, I don't know, man, because Statue World is everywhere too. You know, they have Quarter Scale, they have Queen Studios, they have affordability is all over the place. Sideshow is affordable to a lot of people. XM is the next level. Queen Studio is the same level as XM, and then there's Prime One, right? So there's different ranges for those collectors. But I'd if I if I were to tell them, I'd tell them give it a chance. You know. For me, just like with J&D stuff, the silicone isn't there for me.
Yeah.
Well, do you think that's just like a different tier of collector? Like it's just like you have this different subset of people that is what they like. It's like do you like museum poses only? Do you like dynamic statues? It's probably more just a preference of materials. Some people like resin or cold cast porcelain or polystone or silicone.
I could see that. I could definitely see that. Being a different tier system where people want that material. It's like I have some friends that collect coins. It's like there's different tier systems within their collection. So I could see that.
I mean, it's like watches, right? They all tell time.
Some of them tell you the astrological stuff too. But
And
yeah,
the
that's
date, and the
different
date.
tier system.
It makes sense because like I get priced out with art prints too, where there's I could probably grab it. Maybe I'll grab it if I'm not feeling lazy because I don't have to get up. There's an artist who does.
God. We're live.
She's Canadian. Maybe I'll get up and get it. It's just I don't want to like get up right now, but I'll say it and then I'll grab it. You guys, I'll still
It's
be able
getting worse.
But 2 minutes from now, it'll be better.
Yeah. I gotta let go of this fart really quick. Okay, there we go. That's what you...
I thought I smelled cabbage.
Anyway,
Oh, you guys are killing me today.
so there's an artist I really like. Didn't know much about her till this year. Her prints are fucking expensive, like $500, $600, $700 for an art print, not an original. And I'm like, that's crazy.
Really?
Yeah. So I just bought the most expensive art print that I'll ever have in my collection for now. Where it was like, damn, like that's a lot. But I wanted it for a while. They didn't make a lot of them, but yeah, there's a few like James Jean. He does like a lot of embellished art prints. They start at like 500. And so when I think about that, where it's like there's different tiers of collecting or what have you, Duck, it's not Olivia. Well, hers are expensive. Like her embellished ones are expensive, but the ones that are just normal on paper are not that bad. I have one of her Catwoman ones, but what was I saying? Yeah, so like I'll see a collection full of Hot Toys, and I'm thinking in my head like, okay, 300 there, 300 there, 300 there. Like, okay, like that whole Maju case if he sold all of that, he could probably afford my entire collection. It's all relative. Like it's just so.
That's definitely a good word.
Like for me, art prints aren't terribly expensive. Like when you get them retail, I have art prints that cost me between like $20 and maybe like $150. But when you have almost 100 of them, that adds up. But still, to me, I'm like, that's a drop in the bucket. Like one art print is not. None of my art prints could afford a Prime 1 statue. If that makes sense. But
Yeah, I definitely hear you.
I'm gonna get my lazy ass up and go get that.
I never said that. Brent, how's it in the comic book world? Like, I guess the tier system would be regular comic, CGC, and then autograph series and stuff like that, or how's it there?
I don't know. I think it's more like blue chip keys. So it's gotten really bad with Spider-Man books. Like I swear, every issue from 1 to 100 is now like a blue chip key book.
What's that mean, blue chip key?
So it's like the top keys and like in Marvel books. So like those. So like you have certain books that it'll be like first Thor. Some of those that are like top tier first appearances. But with Spider-Man, because he's so popular, everybody wants that stuff. And I mean everybody. So it's hard to even get
Rashid.
some of those prices.
Yeah.
Like you get priced out pretty quick. I think what I share, they're selling Incredible Hulk 1 to 6, and they're all graded 8.0 or higher. And I think it was going for 30,000.
God.
Hold on a second. Let me go into my vault a second.
Yeah.
So it's like those 6 books, because they're high grade together, you know, it's a nice car.
1 second, CC.
We're doing mud masks now?
So she incorporates. I know it's hard to tell. It's
Oh, I see
Oh,
that.
that's pretty sick.
like comic book elements
Yeah.
into like female portraits.
So this was like $600.
No, this is actually a handbill. It's an advertisement for one of her shows. Here's her name. 'Cause
You sold me. I was like $600. That's
well, I got this because A, it's the only thing I could afford. B, the latest art print she did was of a black and white like Marilyn Monroe, her face.
Oh, that's cool.
And then it had like Vision and Wanda like kissing, like a scene on her forehead, and like again like the pieces of comic books like surrounding her face. That one I think was $500 or $600. So I was like, you know what? I'm gonna get this, and I'm just gonna put a mat around it. And and the other one actually this is a good point because I'm starting to get into like small things like handbills. Here's another one. This is not the permanent frame for it. Oh, there's a glare.
Oh, I like that.
That's nice.
Oh,
Yeah.
wait, see my arm on the
Very
wall.
cool.
That's cool.
But this is a Matt Ferguson handbill, and I have Vader as well. So
Quick question: when you pick up these art prints from like an artist at a panel or at a Comic-Con or whatever, do you get them to sign it by chance? Like if they're selling it in person?
most of the time, like the one I picked up at Celebration, most of the artists tend to sign it already
Okay.
when you go to pick it up. And then there's some like I don't have it next to me. The artist who did the badge art, Alice Zhang, for Celebration, she was there only for a few hours each day, and so she was there. I think she was the longest line I waited in, honestly, but she was signing people's badges, and I bought posters that they had in the Celebration store of all of the badges, like in a collage kind of thing, for her to sign those. But yeah, especially if it's an artist proof, like the Matt Ferguson Killing Joke. Let me see if I can tilt. That one.
One
Oh,
second.
there we go.
Gotcha. Oh wow, I saw that one before. That one's cool.
Yeah, that yellow one. So that one is an artist proof. So that one came signed because I bought it directly from Matt Ferguson. So yeah, if it's an artist proof, chances are it's signed. Also, no harm in asking if you're buying an art print directly from an artist store. Sometimes they get art. Some artists like. Oh, why am I blanking on his name? I just bought an art print from him. Everyone freaks out about him and loves his stuff. Damn it, what is it?
Schneider, Capullo.
I think it's with a D. He does Star Wars. Dorman, Dave Dorman.
Okay, I would never guess that.
Dave Dorman. He
Double D.
he has I think he had two at one point, two like web stores. I think he still has one. And people were straight up reporting they were not getting the prints they're ordering from his web store. And they were giving him a bunch of shit, and he had to come out and say, like, I don't run the store. Like, they just sell my art and I get a check kind of thing. Like, hey, for service issues, unfortunately, I'm not the person to talk to. Also, I'm using a shared account, obviously, the Rogue One 6 account, and I don't have the heart to change the photo, but my photo that's Polly.
Jerry. Oh.
Yeah,
That's
it's not
Baby
Jerry.
Yoda.
He's supposed to be 50 years old, right?
And his little Grogu onesie that he got for Christmas. So
Did I ever tell you guys the story of when I got Frank Miller to sign one of the art prints that I got?
yeah, because didn't you say it was awkward?
Yeah, because like I went up to his booth and I was like, I love this freaking art print. It's the one where like Batman jumps and there's a lightning bolt right behind him.
Oh yeah,
The famous
Dark
cover.
Knight.
Yeah.
Turn the,
Yeah.
the Dark Knight.
Yeah, so I went up to him and I went up to that booth and I was like, man, I love this thing. Like I remember when I was a kid reading this book, that lightning bolt. I don't know, it stuck out to me. Blah blah blah. And he was like, "Do you want me to sign it?" And I was like, I don't know who you are, but no, it's cool. But like, this is awesome. I would love to buy this one day. Like this is amazing. He's like, yeah, we'll sell it to you. Don't worry about it. And I was like, he was like, "Do you want me to sign it?" And I was like, again, I don't know who you are, but yeah, if you want to sign it on the very bottom. And he was like, okay, I'll sign it, but I'll sign it right here next to Batman. So because this is the one I did a long time ago, Frank Miller. And I was like, "You're not Frank Miller." You're like, I never like I know who the artist is, but like I didn't put a face to him, So I was like,
you just lost 20 subscribers.
I know, but like, yeah, he signed it and he was like, "Yeah, take it. It's yours." And I was like, "Shit." And I swear, I
lucky
turned
he was so
around.
nice.
You still have. Sorry, go ahead.
I still have it, but like I turned around and there was like 1,000 people right as soon as I walked away, and I was like, wow, like I actually got this and I got it signed by him, and I was like, I didn't pay extra or anything. He was just really nice and just signed it really quick, and I was like, oh
That's
my
awesome.
god, yeah.
Well, and it's funny because you never know. Like, I've been waiting in line to get Alice's signature, and some friends like from RS walked up and they were like, "Oh, she's signing the badges. Can you sign the badge?" And one of the like employees of the booth were like, "Hey, like the line's all the way back there," and I knew them, so I was like, "Give me your badges. Take them off," because I was like next in line. So it worked out well that they were both able to get their badges signed, but they didn't realize. And actually, I was with Sean. He goes by Spice Runner. He's been on the L show, I think, a few times. And I was like, "I'm gonna wait in this line. You don't have to wait in this line." And he was like, "Well, it's not that bad," because there was like 3 people at the booth because the line was elsewhere because they didn't want us all standing in the walkway. So I was like, "No, the line starts back there." And he was like, "Oh shit, I'll find you later. I'll catch you later." And I'm like, "Yeah, like some of these artists have a huge following. You don't realize it." And then so Keesis has a question. If I stop buying art prints for a year and just get statues, how many could I get? I don't know if I'd get one. Well, that's tough because it's like are we talking like an average year of art print collecting? Then that's probably like a normal year. I'm trying to figure out what a normal year is now.
I guess what do you get in a month usually?
I'm not good at I'm good at keeping track of everything else I buy, but not art prints. And I swear it's because it's like $30 here, $60 here, so I don't have a spreadsheet or anything. It's not like expensive helmets or statues where I have to think about when I have to pay for them and when they're shipping and like that kind of thing.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's a few hundred. I don't know if it's like maybe it would be like a Prime 1 statue in a year. But that's also a lot of prints. Like one week I bought 10 art prints. I think that was last year during one of the Comic-Cons. So, and even actually I'm going through that dilemma right now where Matt Ferguson's going to release that Return of the Jedi print on May the 4th. And I'm like wondering if they'll let me buy multiples of one of the variants. Because I have like 2 friends who know I'm pretty on the ball with that kind of thing. And they're like, "Hey, can you get mine?" And I'm like, dude, if I have like fucking 5 of these in my cart, they might cancel the order if they think I'm scalping or I'm flipping them. So I actually might have to get in contact beforehand and be like, "Please don't cancel my shit. I swear to God, I'm buying these for friends."
Yeah, we'll see. Comic-Cons around my area are starting to pick up, so I'm going to start going to a bunch. Like here, there's one that just happened in Florida I should have went to. There's one in Texas. What's that?
MegaCon?
MegaCon, yeah. Like our guy Terry and some other guys recommended that one. I should have went to that. Boston's coming up. Going to the Boston. I want to go to one in Chicago too. I think that passed though. C2E2. Should have went to that. But yeah, Artist Alley is like my favorite, so I usually go there all the time.
That's what I think I mentioned as soon as I hopped on. Thought Bubble is the like art print convention or art convention. I think they call it a comic art convention that happens in England every year in November.
Wow.
That's what I'm seriously considering going to because like I know last year I felt awful. I told one of my friends who's not far from where they have the convention that it was going on, and it was like 2 days before um, the convention was going to start, and he was like, "Shit, I wish I'd known because like I have family in the area. I could have stayed with them." But I think every year, most of the time, it's like Jock will go, uh, Raid 71, Matt Ferguson's gone. I think Kevin Wilson, the one who did the Batman one right here. Um, I'm not sure. I think who else? Maybe Andy Fairhurst. They're basically, it's a laundry list, mostly British artists, but there's a ton of. Flory went last year. He's Australian. So, and I actually met an artist who worked on a Dark Horse comic that was debuted at Celebration. Um, he was an inkist, I think. It had Jackson, that Green Rabbit on the cover. Um, I asked him, I said, "How's Thought Bubble? Please tell me it's awful." And he's like, "It's a great time." And I was like, "God damn it." So, yeah. And thank you, Nelson, for the Hellboy love. That's another project I just got on. I got on a private art commission or private print run for a Hellboy print.
Well, we hit the hour mark. I usually try to keep these to 1 hour, but we could go. I got time today. Like, anything else you guys want to add on to this tonight?
So what are we buying next?
I know, man. Like, man, you know what I really want to get into? Like, probably next week or sometime soon is like I want to get into customs, but like customs for licensed pieces, like people
Yeah.
making custom
that's fun.
portraits, custom accessories, custom stuff like that.
That could be fun.
But there's
Thanos
one
on Throne is the best for that.
Yeah, so actually, good thing you brought that up because the company that made that King Thanos is making another one. It's called a King Venom, or Thanos Venom. So
It's
it's
venomized
stupid.
Thanos,
Yeah, it's
yeah.
venomized Thanos. It's stupid, but it's like I feel like I'm gonna miss out if I don't get it. So I'm gonna get it. Well, I'm gonna try to get it. It's supposed to be coming out next week or something.
That's a super interesting topic. Also, I really loved John's. I don't know the names of these guys. The Lady Death. Is that the right one?
Oh yeah.
That one, that's gorgeous. Man, I love that alone. Like, I know it pairs perfectly with Thanos, but I thought that was a beautiful combination. But if anyone knows anyone who's willing to do a custom base for the Vader, the Mythos Vader, I asked around and no one I know will touch it because they say bases are a lot more difficult as far as like making sure it keys in correctly and all that kind of stuff. But man, if someone did a different base for that statue, I'd be thrilled.
Are you talking about the old Vader or the new Vader, the new Mythos Vader, the new one? Okay. You don't like that the base on that one?
I could look past it. I'm still gonna buy it. Don't get me wrong. I'm just not rushing because the edition size is so high. But I'm probably gonna get it on seconds. But just the flames and the base, I'm just not crazy about. I just love the cape and how Vader looks.
Yeah,
But
Vader's
that
badass.
base, I wish it was more simple because there's so much going on with Vader himself.
How about you guys? Like, would you guys would you guys be interested in custom pieces and stuff like that, like custom portraits?
No, I had a few and I kind of got out of that game. I think it's cool. I like the one they did. They even did one for the DK3,
Yeah,
the Bruce.
I got that one. Yeah.
The Bruce Wayne portrait, which looks really cool. But I think, for me personally, that's a whole other rabbit hole.
I don't know about like portraits necessarily, but I definitely have more custom statues than I do licensed, and I think it's gonna stay that way. So any opportunity to talk customs, I'm fair game.
Awesome.
I'd love if companies started doing customs for like spare portraits or spare parts where you can display them. Somehow you can display them with the statue. That I think I could get behind. like the torsos for, let's say, DK3, you got like 3 torsos, and they didn't give you any bus to display the portraits on the torsos, or the accessories where you can kind of put in the arm into the torso and display the grapple gun or whatever. You know what I'm saying?
Well, DMD kind of did something similar to that, but it was actually, I was like, damn, that's ingenious, but I feel like they should have figured that out beforehand. Was for their Krennic statue, they had 2 different swap out like torsos where his outfit was different. It was like his kind of like the one he was wearing in the flashback to when Jyn Erso was a child, and it had like he had the cap and the kind of cape thing, versus like what we saw him as when he was director and he was like, you know, getting choked by Vader kind of thing. But he had a whole different torso and he just had legs. Well, I guess some people asked, like, can we get a second pair of legs so that they would technically have a whole nother statue? And he went ahead and did that for people.
Hell yeah. See, that's awesome right there. Yeah, I want to see if we could talk about that next week or whenever you guys want, or whatever you guys want for next week. But that'd be definitely a topic I want to bring up. What do you think, Brenton?
Yeah, that's not for me. You guys feel free to talk about it.
Okay. Well, yeah, we hit that 1 hour mark, and we're gonna do an unboxing on Collecting Weekly, right, John?
Yes,
Collecting
sir.
Yeah. What's tonight's unboxing of?
Lane will be doing the XM Catwoman.
Oh, the purple suit. That's right.
Purple suit.
Awesome. All right. Well, Brenton, what's your question of the week for this week, man?
Oh, is less more?
Oh boy.
So, it's,
We got another hour to go. Let's go.
Less is more. So yeah, check it out on Collecting Weekly. Brenton's question of the week. I love those, man. Like, you should make them longer. They're like 2 minutes, and I'm just like I want to hear more people. I guess more people need to comment, right? That's the biggest thing.
there you go.
Yeah. All right. I'll try to get them to comment next week. How about you, Cece? You got anything coming up? Are you still resting from your trip and everything?
I think I'm well rested from the trip. I'm trying to think, what do we have coming up? We definitely have group therapy on Friday. And then I did a print show was it this Tuesday? This past Tuesday? I think it was this past Tuesday. Do check that out because I'm trying to do better at the print show. So any encouraging words are very encouraging, and I'm trying to be consistent with it. I think now that we don't have Mando, I'm hoping we could do it like every other Tuesday, or if it just means I do a recorded video for like 5 minutes showing off an art print, because unfortunately sometimes I just have like 24 hours notice before they actually go live. But I'd like to do more of the print show stuff. But I think with us doing Mando on like Tuesdays at midnight / Wednesday mornings, it really derailed me being able to do 2 shows in the same night because it's just a lot. But yeah, so if anyone wants to check that out, I did a print show last Tuesday, and we're going to be doing group therapy on Friday, and I don't know what else we have in the meantime. I don't think we have anything else scheduled.
Okay. Could you do me a favor? Could you post that up in the group? Maybe like everyone could check it out that way. I don't know if you're part of that group yet, or our group. Yeah.
I'll have to check. I think I am. Yeah.
Yeah. Whenever you get a chance,
I can
add
do
it
that.
there. I'd be interested to check it out too. And Brenton, you too, man. Your question of the week should go in that group too, so people could check it out. You too, John. Like, you guys should use that freaking group for whatever you guys need, man. Like, get people to watch it some more.
Appreciate that.
I'll keep it in mind.
Yeah, hell yeah. We got 50 people still watching. I think we should still keep talking,
I
man.
think we
Get
should
these
keep
people.
going. I don't know what the rush is. Less is more. That's a good topic to talk about.
I don't know. That's Brenton's topic, so let everyone answer on Brenton's.
No, you guys can talk about it. I said my piece, but I'd be curious to hear what you guys think.
So what is your piece on that, Brenton, really quick, if you don't mind?
I mean, the way I approached it is that it's a very personal collecting decision. I think some people like to have a lot, and some people like less and more space for a cleaner look in a display. And, I just fall on that area where I think less is a little bit more, where I like to let the statues breathe a little bit at least and give them the space. I don't like a necessarily cluttered look. That doesn't appeal to me personally, but like I said, it's not a right or wrong. type thing. It's just really personal preference.
I feel that's tough though. Like you, as a collector, like you start collecting, and then like your room gets smaller. That by with the years coming along, it gets smaller and smaller. And then what do you do when like you're at your max point of like room? You know, like what happens
That
then?
that's true. Maybe it's time to you have to sell something to get something new at that point.
Yeah, I definitely fall. I think I'm in between too. Like less is more, and because I have a whole freaking shelf full of bones now. The whole shelf is packed, and it looks cluttered as anything. But luckily, they're tiny compared to these other statues. But I do love every single one of them. So I don't know, man. Like with the statues, with the quarter scales and the third scales, luckily, I felt like when I first started out, I wanted everything. I wanted to complete lines. I wanted to complete like the Batman rogues, the X-Men line, everything in between. But luckily, I got out of it, and now I'm just. I think I'm slowly transitioning to less is more, slowly, but we'll see.
I've always tried to do less is more, but it's very difficult. Obviously, when you're at a, like you don't have a lot of space. But the one way I know I'm not less is more is when it comes to art prints. Like I don't. I think I like gallery walls and being pretty like extra when it comes to displaying art prints. So not minimalist. Like I describe myself as a maximalist when it comes to like having art on the walls. But I agree. Like I see a lot of really great collections where they have excellent pieces, but sometimes if they have so much packed into such a small space, or they might even have a large space, but just so much shit in it that you can't really appreciate the individual pieces that are there. It's just not, and that's what like it makes me feel better about myself that I don't have this huge big collection because sometimes I see large collections that have a ton of stuff in there and I'm like it looks busy or it gives me anxiety just looking at it. So I try to be more selective and I think we've talked about it where it's like almost like a capsule collection where it's like you have every single thing you love and therefore it's always going to look good because it's all things that you love and it's not just like everything because you got FOMO or you couldn't decide or you know you're easily enabled and so you have a bunch of pieces that are very popular but not necessarily everything that you love individually. um so yeah, I agree with that.
What do you think, John?
I think we all strive for less is more, but I think collecting at some point it becomes. I think the big topic underlying issue with this would be space. I think less is more, but if you keep on buying, which we do, whether it's a piece a year, two pieces, you're gonna eventually hit a threshold where that less is gonna become more, and then you're gonna have to do what Brenton says, and is if you're gonna sell to buy new stuff, or if you're just gonna keep accumulating and putting stuff on top of stuff. I think less is more short term.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for like that's a phase. I feel like. Cece, what do you think of like statue collectors that have their statues like cluttered, but then they also have art prints behind the statues, like
I'm never going to dissuade someone from adding art to their collection. I don't, to me when I say cluttered it's not, how do I say this, when I see a collection and I'm like, you know what, I think that could be displayed differently, it's typically not because of how the art is displayed. I will tell people, like, I don't want to name and shame, but there are some people who I'm like, hey, like, if you just thought that out a little bit better, you could maximize the space on your wall as opposed to just like, got something in, put it on the walls, got something in, put something on the walls, got something in, put it, and then like, it's not evenly spaced or it's not planned out very well, and then they're like, oh crap, what do I do with this? So yeah, I'm OCD. So I'm not I'm not technically OCD. I think I'd say I'm a perfectionist, but yeah, it tends to not be, I don't find offense in how people display their art or their art prints. It tends to be more of the 3D stuff. Like I said, the statues. But I've said this before. Like I love statues because they could look so colorful and individual and unique, But then I hate statues because they could look so colorful and individual and unique, so that if you have like 10 of them on a shelving unit, if they don't have a lot of air to breathe, it could look very cluttered real fast. Or you could use lighting techniques to kind of highlight those statues where it doesn't look like just a wall of polystone, if that makes sense. I don't know. I sound like a hater. I'm not trying to be a hater.
Hate
Would
clips,
you, if you wanted to, would you sacrifice collecting due to space? Would you sacrifice your collecting?
Not collecting. I think I haven't gotten to that point yet, but I think I would be like, you know what? I don't have space for this thing I want, and I like that more than something I already have. So therefore, I'm gonna have to like sell something or get rid of something. But I haven't gotten to that stage yet. But also, to be fair, like I don't show a lot of pictures of my collection, and I imagine if I did, people would be like, "Oh, better to me."
Yeah. Hoarder.
Whatever makes the person happy, that's what I say. If you like to walk in and see things on top of things, sure, that's the way you do it. I don't know, it's tough. I don't know if I'd be able to sacrifice collecting to
To
space.
stop collecting.
Yeah, like, you know what I'm saying? I'd either sell or just keep it in the box.
Well, and like
And one day figure it out.
I totally agree with the whole like, hey, if people have cluttered collections and they think it's fine, they're collecting for themselves and no one else. I totally understand that. Like if I've thought about that too, where I have gallery walls. It's a lot of art prints on one wall, and that could look like too much and doesn't look museum like, and doesn't look gallery like. It looks like a lot, but I like it. And at the end of the day, this is my house. Like there's, I collect for myself, not for other people. But that doesn't mean I also can't say, hey, I've seen cluttered collections. That's not for me. Or that's not how I would display that.
Brenton, what do you think, man? Like, you have your little corner. Is it going to spread out to anywhere else? Or do you think, like...
Yeah, I got a new shelf that I just put up, and it's empty right now. So
what's that mean? Statues are on their way? Or
That means more is more.
more is more? Yeah, exactly.
Well, see, I actually haven't ordered anything to put on it yet. So I
see.
just have an empty shelf.
Invisible Woman's there. I can see it.
Yeah, the Wonder Woman's invisible jet is sitting
Ah,
there.
nice. I saw it.
I knew it.
That's
That
awesome.
161 is
Jazz
beautiful.
By Jazz Inc. Yeah. Awesome. Look at that, man. Everyone's starting to show up. I guess people are getting out of work or getting home from dinner or something. That's
Nobody
interesting.
works anymore.
What's that, Danny?
Nobody works.
But I don't know how we're gonna. Let us know what you get back next week, Brenton, on that one. I hope you get back a bunch of comments on that one. Interesting
Yeah.
to see.
I'll wait and see what people have to say. That it's hard coming up with questions about collecting like that, because so much of it is just a personal preference. It's just how you want to do it yourself, and that's why I try and drive home the point that there is no right or wrong reasons for these decisions or how you do anything. It's all up to the individual. Do it whatever way you like to do it.
Wow.
Oh, now that Jerry's here, Ark said that this looked like you. Do you concur?
Jesus.
Yeah, I could put his face up really quick. Look at
20
that.
years ago.
Boom, boom. Ah.
Actually, it does.
It's like a younger version or something.
Yeah.
Different color beard.
It's Jerry's doppelganger.
Yeah, I gotta clip this, man. That's awesome. Jumbo. Well, that's cool. Well, we'll get a topic for next week. Yeah, I feel like I'm starting to hit that wall with topics with like statues, because I feel like we did almost 2 years worth of topics, man. Like it almost gets repetitive sometimes, because like every channel talks about statues, almost the same thing, boxes, collecting, and all this other stuff. But somehow we're doing it still.
But it's good to revisit topics that you've discussed, like let's say a year ago or so forth, or in different albums, because people change and the community, things change, people's collections change. So along with that, you'd expect maybe some of the answers to change as well.
Oh man, answers always change. Like I'm gonna do an episode where like John says something, but there's a new episode where John says something else, or like Pudgy says something, Pudgy says something else. Yeah, we'll do an episode on that. That'll be fun. And Brenton too. Brenton did it all last year too. Nah, but
I mean, we could do a easy one like recent pickups.
yeah, right. Or what was the goal for the year or something? Yeah, that'd be great. But what's it called? John, Brenton, Cece. You guys got any last things to bring up? You guys good?
Another great conversation.
Yeah, man. We did an episode yesterday on creating a statue, and that went haywire. I got people hitting me up on that one. Yeah, some guy said like we were supposed to do Gladiator, like a character like people voted for, but then we waited around for another character to be chosen, and like, he was pissed off about that. And I was like, I'm sorry, man. But yeah, we'll follow up on that episode. But yeah. But yeah, you guys, thank you guys again, and I'll see you guys tomorrow on the Statue Tuesday. See you guys.
Good night.